Rangers Easy OK says, evening gents, another great win. What a job Danny Rohl has done. Can't get over the turnaround. Some players, one signing in, left back on the way, and more to come. I think we are going to do it. And I mean, he mentions obviously a new player in. Tochi Chukwueze was announced in a 3.5-year deal earlier today. And Tur Romans, the Belgian left back, is apparently on the way too.
Yeah. These are big moves, Dan. These are big moves. And credit to Andrew Kavanagh, because a lot of us probably thought he'd just about emptied the financial tank in the summer, because he bankrolled a spending spree which was a bit of a disaster. I think lessons have been learned. I think he's realised that he was maybe relying on advice of people who didn't really understand what was required. He didn't really understand what was required. I sense there's been a shift, a pivot in the conversations that he's having, the people he's talking to, the advice he's getting. And obviously there's a realisation that at the first attempt, Rangers could be in this all the way to the line. And he's found money where a lot of people would be surprised. That's $7.5 million on two, which is substantial figures for Scottish football, and I would expect them to spend again I think what they need is a creative, goal-scoring type of player in the attacking third, just to add to the options, because I think they're calling themselves Set Piece FC right now, and understandably, because they're getting a lot of joy. But I do think that in open play, they're missing something in that last third, and it could be the final piece of the jigsaw if they can identify the right guy and make the sign. And I think, we talk about speculating to accumulate. If Rangers lay out a bit of money in this window, and they've already done so, and I think they'll do it again, then they've got a possible direct route into the Champions League. So they're going to multiply anything that they spend if it's successful. And I think what you said there, Rangers Easy OK, saying he thinks that Rangers are going to do it. This is the really fascinating bit for me. I think fans of all three clubs are now starting to believe that this is all.
I think you're right.
Two lots of them are going to be disappointed, and one lot are going to be absolutely over the moon. But it does feel, I feel as if we go into the new year now, you're going in with three clubs, all of whom believe that they can do it, and I think they're bringing the supporters with them. So, and that's why we're going to end up with this. As I said, it's almost like a sprint finish when we're only halfway through the marathon, because every weekend now is going to feel that these games are all just, there's more on them week after week. Who cracks, who blinks first?
Scott in Berlin says in the comments, Rangers getting 9 points in the last 3 games just shows where we are under Rohl, and now we have the easier fixtures coming up. It's Annan in the Cup next for Rangers. I need to, though, very, very briefly mention Aberdeen, Keith. I mean, I don't know what you thought, but I mean, David in the comments says Aberdeen were very poor at home today, made Rangers look a lot better than they are. I think Rangers thoroughly deserve to win, but Aberdeen were rank rotten. So poor. 6.5 hours now without a goal in the league. 6.5 hours.
They're pretty atrocious, aren't they? And again, you've got Lutz Pfannenstiel sitting on the bench. What are you doing, Lutz?
I know it's really
seriously, I think I said it previously when he did it at Ibrox. It's the big I am. I think it's undermining a guy who's already undermined by the very nature of being an interim manager. I don't think he's got any place there. I wonder what his voice is like inside the dressing room. I think he's making it impossible for Peter leaving. I wonder who's making the decisions about tactics. I wonder who's suggesting what substitutions to make. Get out the guy's way. It's a hard enough job. You've got a bang average group of, well, actually they're not. There's a reasonably talented set of players, the Aberdeen squad.
I agree.
But it's proving to be a really hard job to get anything out of them. And Luke Pfannenstiel hanging about and getting in everybody's face, I don't think that helps. I think it's unnecessary, and I actually feel really quite sorry for Peter leaving, because he's got a decent record when he has been shoehorned into this position previously. I'm sure he's got his own ideas in his head about what he wants to do and the ideas he wants to implement. But then you've got this guy looking over his shoulder, looking at his homework. Nah, I think that's a terrible look. I think Aberdeen are a terrible look right now. And if they don't get their act together really quickly. They're fortunate there's a decent sized gap in there between themselves and Kilmarnock just now. I don't know how many points. But
Can see the table there on the screen. I actually think, Kilmarnock 14 points, Aberdeen, okay, 25. There's an 11-point gap, but I look, they're such a hard watch, Aberdeen.
Well, I think they're brutal. And they got exactly what they deserved today. And it probably should have been worse.
Aye.
I don't think that the Manny Fernandez goal was correctly chopped off.
I want to get your take on that. So, I don't think it should have been chopped off. I thought it was...
Well, it's VAR getting involved in stuff again and finding reasons for goals not to stand. Mm-hmm. That's as blatant a case as you'll see of a lot of it. It was actually quite a decent delivery from a long way out from Tavernier into the box. Fernandez gets into position. He gets up early. It's Mitov who comes out towards him. Mm-hmm. Mitov makes the contact. And, I get people will say, well, he's impeded. But he's only impeded because he runs out and throws himself into a situation that he's no reason to be there.
He's never going to win that ball. Aye.
No, it was madness. Manny Fernandez gets up. He's stronger than him. He's more committed than him. He wins the header, scores a goal, and then VAR find a reason to get involved. And I wish that ref David Dixon had a wee bit more about him, because when he was called over the screen, if he'd stuck to his guns and said, "No, I'm sticking with that. The decision's correct," I actually think he would have come away with a bit of respect and praise for it. But it's the usual now, I think there are some of our referees who, as soon as they get the call, the word in the air to go to the screen, well, that's that they've already sort of made up their mind because they don't trust themselves.
I don't know if I've seen a referee go against.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. There have been examples, and by the way, that's exactly what's happened when a referee has done it. And by the way, sometimes even when they're wrong, but at least they've got the courage of their own convictions. Mm-hmm. But with that one there, how many times have we seen it now where VAR get themselves involved in something when there's really no need for it, and it's almost this need to find a reason to chop off a goal. It flies in the face of why paying punters are going to games.
Exactly.
Now, if Rangers get a 2-0 lead at that point, I don't know what that scoreline would have looked at like today, because I felt at 1-0 there was a little bit of nerves. Aberdeen were trying to throw the kitchen sink on the counter attack. And you felt Rangers of a few months ago would probably have crumbled there, dropped a couple of points, had to pat themselves in the back, and another hard luck story and another second prize. But you can see the mentality has changed and improved under Danny Rohl. I said last week about, when somebody said to us, I think it was Rangers easy, okay, calling me out a little bit, because I didn't think that Danny Rohl had the necessary levels of experience required in management to achieve what he's managed to achieve in such a short space of time. And we're talking now about making players better, but also mentally stronger.
Aye.
That performance in the second half probably wouldn't be in Rangers earlier this season, but they coped, even though it was only 1-0. Get the second goal. It was a penalty kick, and that's a big win for them.
Aye. There's a few people, Keith, in the comments, Pato being one of them, saying Fernandez interfered with the keeper by hitting his arm as the keeper jumped for the ball. As clear a foul as it can be. I'm not having that.
It's the keeper that jumps into Fernandez.
Exactly.
Fernandez is doing it all day long.
It's the keeper's challenge.
And while the ball is in the air, you can see that Fernandez is going to win it. Aye. So, it would take some header for Manny Fernandez from, what was it, about 16 yards out to beat Mitov if Mitov just stays in his line. It was madness. And, talk about the phrase, he got away with one there. My God, he didn't have.